All right, guys, we are live. This is the Shillan and Duffy show recapping UFC Nashville. I'm your host. My name is Keith Shillan. Joining me, I want to say as usual, but people complain that it's not always as usual. But he is the better half of the Shillan and Duffy show, the senior editor of sherdogdotcom, the great Ben Duffy. Ben, is your balls hot?
As hot as Nashville chicken. I mean, what a night.
I will say this: it is extremely hot where I am right now. So what people don't see is, so me and Ben can look at each other as the countdown go. No one else can see. I got up like 10 seconds before. I had the AC blasting, but I'm like, oh, that's gonna be so loud. So I had to turn it off. So I'm gonna be, if I'm sweating, that's why. Let's get right into it. We have 12 fights. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We're trying to get to as many comments as possible. Probably a little quicker, and usually that happens when you have a fight. The main event only lasts about 1 minute. So let's get right into it. The main event, the Black Beast, fan favorite. Somebody actually asked me about this fight this week. So, that was kind of cool. The Black Beast, Derrick Lewis, beats UFC newcomer, only a second UFC fight. He's like, I don't know, 12 feet tall, Tallison Teixeira. Derrick Lewis winning by first round knockout. Ben, we don't do this a lot. We don't like brag when we get something right, but this was a consensus upset pick, a pretty big upset too. And not only was it a consensus upset pick, but how we picked it.
Round
Lewis
knockout.
I mean, picking Derrick Lewis by knockout isn't really going on a limb. If we picked him by like armbar in the first round and you won, then we could probably brag a little bit. But this only lasted 1 minute. Derrick Lewis was briefly hurt. I thought it was going to go disastrous for us. He started like covering up his eye, and then he lands an absolute haymaker that we've seen him land time and time again. It kind of reminded me of the Volkov fight, the first Volkov fight where we caught that right hit, especially because like this. I'm sure the height difference might be the big reason too, but he lands that and follows up with big shots. We'll get to the stoppage in a minute. There's some controversy about that. I wasn't too big of a fan, but what do you? I mean, do you take anything away from this? Do you build more belief in Derrick Lewis, or is it just this is the way Derrick Lewis could do?
No, like Derrick Lewis could lose his next 6 fights. He could be 43 years old, and you put him in against a 6'8" guy with questionable head movement, and I'm still taking Derrick Lewis by knockout. I mean, obviously Lewis is in decline. We knew that. He's slowing down. His weird takedown defense and get up game isn't quite what it used to be. His durability has slipped just a little bit, but still, there is a clear route to how to beat Derrick Lewis. But just because it's clear doesn't mean that everybody can do it. You and I saw this. Like Tallison Teixeira was built for the upset here. Like,
yeah,
Derrick Lewis is going to be able to swat taller guys that don't move their head for a long, long time.
Yeah, if you told me like heading in, you guys know I'm not a big betting guy. I don't really care about the betting lines. I'm always way off. I always think the line should be much closer than it is. And if you told me beforehand, oh, someone's a 3-1 favorite, I would have thought for sure Derrick Lewis was. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's fought for the UFC title. He's got the most knockouts in UFC history. The guy's been a top 10 ranked heavyweight for, I don't know, a decade now or whatever it's been. Versus a guy in his second UFC fight, going from Justin Tafa to Derrick Lewis. I would have guessed Derrick Lewis was a huge favorite. But you tell me Teixeira was, and then you start doing tape study on this guy, and you see a guy, offensive skill is there. He can knock guys out. I mean, he looks like Goliath. The guy's freaking humongous. He's athletic. I mean, he just in the brief exchange, he hurt Derrick Lewis. But you tell me a guy who's going to lift his chin, like you said, high chin way up, pulling his head straight back in his second UFC fight, and he's not going to try. Like, if he was, I would get it if he was this. I know he's a jiu-jitsu black belt, but that means absolutely nothing. Like, that really means nothing. And that's like being in the NFL and being like, he played D1 college football. Like, okay, yeah, everybody's done that. If he was this grappling specialist where, he was a former, world champion in BJJ, he's a Fabricio Verdum coming into MMA kind of thing, then I would get it a little bit. But a striker who's just can knock guys out, and he really fought nobody. This matchup made zero sense.
There you go. And unless you look at it as the UFC did a matchup with managed risk on both sides, because they knew Lewis was going to go over amazingly in Nashville, and he did. But
yeah.
if Lewis wins, Teixeira is still, what was he, 25 years old. He has plenty of time to bounce back from this. So it's not the end of the road for him. It's not like it wouldn't be like if the UFC like signed Anatoly Malakian out of one championship right now. He's on a great win streak, but he's already 36 years old. If he loses to Derrick Lewis right out the gate, he's never going to contend for a title. Like, it's not that kind of thing. So if Tallison Teixeira had to take a lump on the way up, at least he can just get in line with all the other people that Lewis has put their head on a swivel for him. And yeah, like I think this worked out okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you have Derrick Lewis speaking to the president of the United States on a borrowed cell phone on your 2025 calendar? I sure didn't.
Oh, this president, I mean, there's no doubt MMA is his favorite sport. UFC, I mean, Dana White's his best friend, and I mean, it's well, he lost his other best friend, and that richest man in the world. But other than that, yeah. But not getting a phone call from the president surprised me. It's getting a phone call with the president after you just mooned an entire crowd like that, you know, and
pretended to urinate in your opponent's corner. Yeah,
that might surprise me a little bit. But yeah, if they actually really do that White House card, you know, and I'm assuming it won't be your, you know, on the 4th of July, I don't think it's going to be a traditional like 14 fight card kind of thing like that. But say we have 5 fights, and I expect Derrick Lewis to be on that card. You know, not headlining, but
it might be Derrick Lewis versus John Jones on that card.
It could be, but that'll probably happen. I know everyone keeps saying, "Oh, Aspinall and John Jones." If you're the White House, why? Well, I don't want to get too.
Why?
I don't want to get too controversial.
As Portia Baines has already said in the chat, like, England takes us back if Aspinall beats Jones on the White House lawn next 4th.
Exactly. Why? I know we're getting sidetracked, and this is what happens when you have a 1-minute fight. But why wouldn't you just have 2 Americans headline the card?
Which I imagine is what's going to happen.
You know, say they think about it. If they went back and they said instead of doing it for 250, they did it for 249. The fight we have next weekend makes total sense. Holloway, Poirier, 2 badasses, 2 guys been in the sport forever. Right now, if you told me what makes sense to headline, and I wouldn't even do a pay-per-view, I just have like some like ABC card. Yeah. Kayla Harrison makes sense. You tell me that two-time Olympic champion, but I wouldn't have. I mean, obviously against Man Nunes, but I know Man Nunes is a citizen and all that too. But like, I'd book her against some American woman that she's gonna beat, and she can have the gold medals and the president and the belt, and you know. Anyways, but we get way sidetracked. That has nothing to do with this fight. As far as this matchup, I don't understand the matchmaking in the sense like, yeah, maybe you want Derrick Lewis in front of a crowd, say something crazy, sure, but why would you, if you want Derrick Lewis to have a big moment, why would you book him against somebody that's a 3-1 favorite against him? Now, obviously, it worked out perfect for them.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is they like didn't care if he won or lost; they just want to get him on the card. And he does seem like one of these guys. It doesn't matter if he wins or loses. He says funny shit, and people always go, you know, like him. I just like, how deep did you have to go before you came up with Teixeira? It just didn't. It didn't make sense.
I mean, that's a good point. I wonder if they decided first that Lewis is going to be on this card and they went digging for someone to fight him. That's a fair question.
Let's talk about the stoppage for a second, because I have a huge issue with the stoppage. I think it was horrendous.
I understand why.
It was a timing.
Mm-hmm.
If he stops it 1 second earlier, when he's on all fours getting punched, you know, the side of the head, I'd say this. I'd say I think it's a little bit of early stoppage, but it's in that realm where it's like, I get it. You're a heavyweight. You're the hardest hitter in the history of the UFC, dropping bombs on a guy. But as he gets to his feet, it made no sense to me. When they stopped it, I thought he was stopping the fight to take a point from Teixeira because he just goes 2 hands on the cage and pulls himself up.
Yeah.
And then I was going to argue as someone who obviously took Derrick Lewis, I'd be like, no, you don't stop it then. Derrick Lewis is going to come in and try to finish him. Don't stop the fight. Take a point later on if there's a big lull in action, then go back and be like, hey, you grabbed the fence earlier. We're taking a point because it was so egregious. That's what I thought. That's what I thought the stoppage was. Tell me why you like the stoppage.
Well, I'm not saying I liked it. Obviously.
Yeah, you did. You said it was the greatest stoppage ever.
Yes. Obviously, what I would prefer every time, every fight, is a clean, uncontroversial decision or stoppage that lets me know who the best fighter was that night. That's what I would like best. I don't hate the stoppage for the reason that you and numerous other people are mentioning. It's because Teixeira just literally did a 2-handed chin up with his fingers through the fence, and that is what allowed him to get back up. At that point, if you stop the action, you're penalizing Lewis, because if not for that pull up, Lewis would still be punching him in the head right now, like the guy would be guacamole. So, and you can't. What are you going to do? Like, okay, so we're going to restart that with you on your knees and Derrick beating your brains out of your left ear hole. Yeah. Like, so I thought it was the best of a bad situation.
Okay. I don't know. I just think it looks bad. And you know what? I think Lewis was going to finish him seconds later. I think he was going to step in. I actually think he might have. And again, obviously, I'm guessing, but I actually think he stopped Lewis from having a real spectacular knockout, because I think Lewis is going to step right in with another big overhand right and clock him and put him out cold.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I don't love the stoppage, and as JSX points out, he could have signaled the point deduction without stopping the action, but he maybe he thought Teixeira was done after all. I don't know. And if that's the case, yeah, it feels like weird timing, because if he stopped it before Teixeira even got up, it would have been better.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, how much can you really talk about the main event when it only happened for 1 minute? We'll throw it to the chat for a second and see. How's people? It seems like a lot of people are saying it was a little early stoppage. I think some people understands where you're coming from. A lot of people mentioned it about climbing up the cage. They should have had like 30 CWSs. They could have Lewis on back mount next to the cage and let him give some extra brain damage. So I get that. You know what the hardest thing I think is right now? God, 30 CWS is killing me. That guy loves trolling me. And I apologize. I wasn't keeping up with the chat, so I'm trying to catch up on some comments. The hardest thing right now might be matchmaking Derrick Lewis. And I think that might, like, going back to what we talked about earlier, like they had to find someone for Lewis to fight. When you win a fight night, you win a main event on a fight night, you automatically get more shine than you should.
Yeah.
It propels you right back up in like a top 5, like you got to fight a top 5 guy kind of thing. Who are you matching Derrick Lewis with now?
Well, I think he's fought literally everybody ahead of him in the UFC's rankings. So you either need to just slap him into a fun or hopefully fun action fight. You give him someone like Jairzinho, Rosenstrike, or you roll out the next up-and-comer and hope he does better. Give him someone like Jonathan Janice or Mick Parkin. Hell, dude, no, give him the winner of Martin Budai and the debuting Marcus Buchecha from one championship.
No.
Like, do something like that.
I think they should really find a taxi driver. like just like, they had that thing, how many men versus was it a gorilla? How many men
Yeah.
could be a girl? Like they just like how many Brazilian taxi drivers will take to beat Derrick Lewis? Just line them up and just keeps feeding out another one as they go. I was searching.
Lewis asked for Waldo Cortez Acosta. I like that just fine.
Did he? That's so random. Okay,
but
I was gonna give
having a whole week of Lewis saying "Where's Waldo" would actually make me laugh.
Yeah,
so.
I was gonna give him a much harder matchup, but if he called that, he kind of to me, he's one of these guys within a realm can, within reason, I should say, can call a shot. Like I'm not giving him Tom Aspinall, I'm not giving him Don Jones, but he wants Waldo Cortez Acosta. Go ahead. I was gonna give him Ciryl. I know they already fought, but it's been a while for both of them. That's what I was gonna go do. So there's a question. So I want to go and we'll match up Teixeira in a second. Juice asked, can refs signal point deductions without breaking up the action?
No,
so that I think
he knows.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. He didn't ask as a question. Sorry, guys. I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning. My daughter had a travel softball tournament in Connecticut. It was practically in New York. So I'm getting close to 24 hours now, or 19 hours plus the sun. Yeah, like that to me, that would have been the thing. Like maybe if he goes like 1 point and he points it out, or like how like in hockey they'll call a penalty, but they won't. If I think it's I don't know, like me trying to be just because I married a Canadian. They have like icing, but they won't call like they signal it, but it won't be icing until the other team touches the puck. The team that committed the penalty. I think could give it something like that. But it is a little different because losing a position where you can knock somebody out. It's just something that we have to accept. Just sucks in MMA. Refereeing sucks. Rules suck. How to enforce rules suck. It just sucks. It is what it is. It's just not like, and I think some of it has to do with it's still. As much as we joke, it's still like somewhat of a newer sport, and it's been around, but it's still like they're still trying. I mean, we have different rules in different states. It's like, what are we doing? So all right, I'll go. Well, I mean, you got to put Derrick Lewis. You can't put him in an Apex. You got to put him in like an arena.
Yeah, like it would be a waste to spend one of what are we probably into Derrick's last 3 to 5 fights. Putting any of those in a gym with some TV cameras in it would be a travesty.
Yeah, like you give me Derrick Lewis like second fight of a pay-per-view, second fight in or third from the top and a weaker pay-per-view. What are you doing with Teixeira?
He goes back down the ladder a little bit, and it almost doesn't matter. Give me another promising guy or semi-promising guy that's lost a fight. Hell, give me Kennedy Nzechukwu that just fought tonight. Give me, I don't know, Rizvan Kuniev who fought earlier this year. Yeah.
See, I think the problem with him is it's also hard to rank him because the range he's at right now in his career, it's such a big gap. We have no idea. He's somewhere between Justin Tafa and Derrick Lewis.
Yeah.
It's like, somebody, playing Little League gets a base hit and you're like, oh, it's pretty good. And then all of a sudden he's got to face Max Scherzer or something in the majors. Like, well, he's somewhere between those two guys. Because he was in a main event, I almost feel like he can't drop too much. Like you still have to kind of put him in a big match. And then in fairness to him, he can have that moment where he can say, dude, the stoppage was terrible. He can be like, I was on my feet, why would you stop it? And then you can use that. Give him a big matchup. I'm giving the guy who deserves a big matchup. I think stylistic will be really fun. I'm going with the guy we already saw tonight. I'm giving him Walter Walker.
Beautiful. I like it just fine.
I put it as a pay-per-view opener. Heavyweight pay-per-view opener. I was gonna have a whole big rant about judging and everything, but we already summed it up. So Sean C saying worst stoppage of all time. All right, let's move on. Probably the stoppage. This was controversial. Maybe not as controversial as the judge's decision, as Stephen Thompson took on Gabriel Bonfim. Gabriel Bonfim getting the biggest win of his career, winning by split decision in the co-main event. And do you agree with the decision?
I do not. I scored the fight 29-28 for Stephen Thompson, giving him rounds 2 and 3.
That's exactly
not only that, I didn't think any of the 3 rounds were individually that difficult to score.
Yeah, I don't think I don't want to say I don't think it was a robbery, because to me it wasn't like Thompson dominated the 3rd round. He landed one high kick that was significant. It was he threw the high kick perfect time as Bonfim was kind of dipping, caught him clean. Somehow Bonfim, it looked like a high kick that would knock a guy out. Somehow he just ate it and kept moving forward. So, that, to his credit, it obviously wasn't as big of a factor as it looked and sounded.
Yeah.
But Bonfim didn't do anything. Clinching, trying to get a takedown, not getting a takedown. If you get a takedown, he pops right back to his feet. If you go by the criteria, I'm with you. I think Thompson won the 3rd round, and I had a 29-28 for Thompson.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm watching Thompson, and I would never say he has good takedown defense. Like, never. But his takedown defense is better at, I don't know, how old is he? 42, 43? What is he?
42, yeah.
42?
Yeah, 42.
His takedown defense is better at 42 than it was at 32.
Yeah, it sure looked it looked pretty good tonight, and just his survivability on the ground, because when Bonfim took him down quickly in the 1st round, I thought, and was just immediately on his back, and I think he had an arm going to go under the chin within like 30 seconds. I was thinking, oh man, this is going to be over quick and ugly. I had already penciled in for my matchup like Thompson retire.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Thompson didn't die.
Do you remember I said he was going to take him right down and stub him? And no one's ever done that to Thompson. I was like, I was ready to be like, perfect call.
Yeah. We both had Bonfim by sub, but his sub defense looked pretty good. His get up game looked pretty good, and his takedown defense was better than usual, especially later in the fight. Once Bonfim, he seemed to get like a little discouraged, just start to second guess himself a little bit. Just his striking started looking really tentative. Just everything started looking like really tentative. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think some of that had to do with, I think, because he came out so aggressive early, got a takedown, got to his back, almost got a submission, and then he wasn't getting close to it. I think that was his strategy, and suddenly it wasn't working. Yeah, I want to answer Antoine Willis. The guy, this is my man. This guy, I love this guy. He is asking is Wonder Boy Hall of Fame. Listen, I'm gonna give you this answer, and I know everyone's gonna hate my answer, but Ben already knows what my answer is gonna be. The UFC Hall of Fame is a joke. Everybody's getting in. It's the WF Hall of Fame where like Coco Beware is in the WF Hall of Fame. The guy was like, I don't think he ever won a title. He was like a freaking, basically a glorified jobber, right? Like when Coco Beware came out and insert a whole bunch of other guys, Greg the Hammer Valentine and when they came out for the Royal Rumble, you never said like, oh, this guy can win the Royal Rumble. You just knew that wasn't happening. And that's how I kind of view this. I mean, Mark Kerr didn't beat a single significant guy in the UFC. Really has like, I don't know, not 1 or 2 significant wins in his career. But they made a movie. I still don't get the whole movie thing. I don't get it. The documentary, I understand, like 20 years ago. I don't get why we have to have a movie too. But just to answer your question, because like I'm completely convinced the movie studio gave them money to throw Mark Kerr in the UFC Hall of Fame to kind of give a little promotion for the movie.
Yeah.
Or The Rock did. I was watching this fight and watching Thompson's improved takedown defense, and I was like, if you could have taken Thompson's takedown defense now with his speed and athleticism a decade ago, he would have been a UFC champion.
He came really, really close.
He came close anyways.
He fought the champ to a draw.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and then it wasn't takedowns and stuff that got in that, but yeah, he and then a lot of people thought he should have won one of the fights. They fought twice. But I don't want to go down. I definitely don't want to go that rabbit hole. I'm not like completely. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is a loss for Bonfim," and stock down on Bonfim. I think his striking look good. You know, based on who he was going against, he connected with some really good shots. His kicks, obviously, that when he checked the kick and he busted Thompson's leg over, I think that a lot of that was really good. I still think it's a stock rising moment because you get Stephen Thompson's name on your resume. That's obviously the biggest win. Being in an arena where everybody's cheering, you're fighting, you're struggling in the moment, trying to get a takedown. Everyone's cheering Wonder Boy over and over again. Mentally, I think it's something that can help Bonfim going forward. Like the moment wasn't too big. Like, do I think he should have won? No, but he at least put himself in a position to win. And I think his striking was pretty well. There's other guys on the ground he's going to dominate. Do I think he's going to win a UFC title? No, but he's still super young. I think I'm probably in the minority, but I still think it's a stock going up moment. Agree or disagree?
I don't know if it's up, but I found myself thinking, okay, if the exact same fight happened, but the judges had gotten it right, and Thompson won 29-28 on all three scorecards, how would I think about Bonfim and how would I match him going forward? And it's about the same. So, yeah, I would say he at least holds steady. And, if he got out of this without taking another L, great, So sometimes the luck breaks your way.
Yeah, and I think to me, this said more about Thompson. You know me, I'm always like, Father Time catches up to everyone except for Tom Brady, and apparently John Jones too. The law catches up to John Jones, but not Father Time. I think it's just like in any moments he could be completely washed. To me, he showed that he's not completely washed. And if you match him somehow, he returns to fight a month from now. He's a tough matchup. I know he's not going to return a month from now, but you get my point. He's still a tough out for anybody. A rising prospect, he's still a test to them. So that's kind of how I viewed this fight, more on Thompson than on Bonfim. So let's do it. Let's matchmake. Thompson's tough because he's already faced everybody. He's in the same situation, Derrick Lewis. I'm giving a guy. He didn't call him out. He called out. He called out Gilbert Burns, but Jake Matthews won. He's won 3 in a row. He's been around the UFC forever. He kind of deserves a big fight. I'm giving him Stephen Thompson. I'm doing like a Apex co-main event.
Okay, so you and I are in the same spot kind of mentally because you're thinking. I mean, it's not like Jake Matthews is a newcomer to the UFC, but he's still just 30. He's still someone whose best days might be ahead of him. So he's an up and comer in that sense. And you're giving him Thompson as a name opponent that's still clearly a solid challenge. I was thinking the same thing because I was going to give him the winner of Brian Battle and Nursultan Ruzaboyev, who are fighting in like a month. That'll give some time for that shin to clear up.
Yeah, I forget who he's fighting, but Muslim Salikov has a fight coming up, and I'm like, it makes no sense. But I'm like, that would just be fun. Those two guys spinning at each other.
Kung Fu versus karate, baby.
But I'm like, does it really matter who wins? So that's why I didn't go with that. Bonfim, that division is so loaded. And when you look, I looked at Leon Edwards. I'm like, does he take that big a step up? Then I'm like, I'm not doing that. This guy probably deserves a bigger name than Bonfim, but it's just one of those you kind of two guys who aren't booked. I'm giving him Randy Brown.
Randy Brown works for me. I was thinking of this coming weekend. Kevin Holland and Danny Rodriguez are fighting. I was going to give him the winner of that, but I'm just as good with Randy Brown.
Yeah, and then, well, he probably took too much damage in this fight to take on Kevin Holland, because Kevin Holland will want to fight. Like he fights this weekend, and then he'll want to fight.
I want to fight before Labor Day. Can we?
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. He might be like before August 1st. Knowing that guy. Yeah. Let's move on. The New England fight scene continues to absolutely be terrible. As probably again, I'm not counting the whole Glover Teixeira team, all the Brazilians coming into Southern New England, though I probably should. Taking out those guys, Calvin Kattar might be the most, last 5 years, the best New England fighter. That's either him or Font.
If it's him or Font, then it's him. Because Font's now Kattar's on a terrible run too.
Well, no, Font actually won.
Yeah, that Font. I was going to say Font has actually.
But I'm saying the last 5 or 7 years, whatever. Those two guys were the face of New England. Calvin Kattar took on rising Steve Garcia. I know I went with the upset. I don't think you went with Garcia, right?
I went with Garcia.
Yeah, I went with the upset pick of Kattar, which shame on me for picking New England. Garcia's good. Garcia dominated this fight. He's good.
The question came up in the Sherdog Slack, and I got half of a laugh out of my mouth before I realized it wasn't a joke. Is Steve Garcia the best fighter at Jackson Wink right now? Yes, he probably is.
Question. Is Steve Garcia the only fighter at Jackson Wink right now? Dude, if we were doing like Family Feud right now, like top 7 answers on the board, name a fighter from Jackson Wink, I'd be naming all guys from a decade ago that I know aren't there anymore. I'm like John Jones, Holly Holm, John Dodson, Rashad Evans, Diego Sanchez. Like, I can't think of another fighter. I obviously I know there are, but who?
The second best fighter out of Jackson Wink right now is Aaron Pico.
There you go. I didn't even know he was there. So there you go. If he wins, he'll be the best. But yeah, but anyways, the point is Garcia is on a run. He looks sensational. Not just that he won, but how he did it. I mean, he forced Calvin Kattar on his back foot, and he must hit hard because Calvin Kattar got tagged, and he gave Kattar no respect. Didn't care about anything that was coming back at him. Forced him on his back foot. Kattar did not want to engage. And I just love it. I just love that this guy that we kind of viewed as going to be a journeyman, like nice to be at the UFC, but you're not going to go far, is going on this great run where now he's probably going to be ranked, at least in the UFC. I mean, he's locked for the UFC rankings. I don't know if he's going to make our rankings, but there's a good argument that he can make our rankings. I love it.
And you made a good point. Like, how he beat him is the real eye opener, because early on, the wild man Steve was not really in evidence. He had the better jab. He had the more effective jab out of the two of them. And as you pointed out, like once Kattar tasted that a few times, it changed his whole game plan, which that's not normally something that people do to Calvin Kattar. Like, I mean, I said on the preview that I thought he was still good at the things that he used to be good at, but yeah, Garcia beat Calvin Kattar in a Calvin Kattar fight for about the first 6 minutes. He got a little wild later, but at that point, Kattar was a little busted up, a little worn down, and I think Garcia had taken a few clean shots from Kattar and realized that, okay, I can brawl with this guy, and if he clips me, I'm not dead.
Yeah, there was nothing in the striking department that Kattar did better than him today. Garcia had the pressure, he had the length, he had the speed. He looked more technical. He had better output. He hit harder. Like, he was beat him to the point of contact. And honestly, Kattar, I mean, he had one moment. Kattar had one moment the entire fight. He stood in the pocket and landed a clean shot. Didn't rock Garcia or anything like that, but like caught him pretty clean. And that was it. This wasn't a no-hitter, but it was a one-hitter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he just, and it got to the point where about 2 minutes left in the second round, I said, Kattar's fighting not to get knocked out right now. He's already accepted that he lost. And the third round, it was obvious. I mean, he needed a knockout, and he never in the third round he never stepped on the gas a single time.
No, which is that was another kind of eye opener, and another thing that kind of surprised me out of Calvin Kattar, because that's not what I'm used to out of him. So yeah, another indication that he's feeling his age, feeling his limitations, maybe.
Yeah, and he was never this like big power punch. I mean, I know they call him his nickname says otherwise, but he's not a guy who's stopping people in knockouts. He's more of a technical. He's very like Sean Strickland type kind of guy without the big Izzy knockout moments. I mean, I know he had that moment against I can't think of his name right now. The guy from New York. It was in Boston. I was there. He caught. I can't think of his name. He's really good. It doesn't matter, but he had like that one big moment way back, like God, it was like a decade ago. But yeah, he looks absolutely shot. Shane Burgos. Yeah, he led that one big point, but it was like late in the fight. It was back and forth war. Yeah, thank you guys. It was a back and forth war, but tonight it was like he didn't want to get knocked out in front of the crowd. Like it looked terrible. Let's Garcia called for Apex main event, so dude, seriously. But what are we doing with it? Like he threw out like a bunch of names. He just wants a ranked opponent. He doesn't really care. So give him a ranked opponent, or you don't have to, but I'm assuming you're going to.
I've got two possibilities, and they both are at least rankings flavored. We got Ige and Pitbull fighting in like this next weekend. If Ige wins, I like that. If Ige doesn't win, I'm not giving Garcia Pitbull, who's 0-2 in the UFC. I'm giving him the winner of Ortega versus Sterling in August.
Oh wow, you're going high. I thought I was going high. You're going really high.
Or the loser of that one is still like appropriate, but yeah.
I'm going with the exact name that Jusek said. I would give him Josh Emmett. I think that'd be fun stylistically, and honestly, I mean, we don't do predictions on the recap show, but in a vacuum, I'd favor Garcia right now.
And off the cuff, I say Garcia goes in as a pretty big favorite there.
Yeah, he's probably like a 600 favorite. I'll fall off my chair, but yeah. Kattar, give me a name for Kattar, because I'm gonna surprise you with my name. I'm
retire.
Okay.
Retire.
Okay. I agree. I tweeted that out, and I was kind of you killed my big moment, because I was gonna have you come up with a name, and then I'd be like, his name should be the Cutlass. I was cutting him.
Yeah. If he insists on taking another fight, well, I mean, maybe if Ige does beat Pitbull, give him Pitbull, get Pitbull a win in the UFC.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I do that, dude. I'm cutting him. If he fights, say, I don't know. Obviously it's different. They have contracts and different things. I'm putting Kattar like. I'll put him in the I'm when I say burying him, like fuck it. Have him an opener of a fight. Like he looked terrible tonight.
I mean, he owns Combat Zone, so if they send him home, like clearly he's going to be able to fight somebody if he wants. Yeah,
I don't know if
the Ray Sefo thing where he like fights on the cards of the promotion that he runs.
Yeah, I don't know if he wins that fight. So before that, Nate Landwehr took on Morgan Charriere. I apologize if I butchered his last name. I did take 2 years.
You said it better than Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, I did.
Cormier has a French last name.
I did 2 years of French in high school. I had Mrs. Carlotti was my teacher, and she was a smoke show. Yeah. Anyways, this fight was fucking awesome. Just any fight with Landwehr is, but the way this went down, Landwehr had all. You know what I loved about it? Landwehr had all the momentum. I'm sitting there. I'm like, it's one round each, but Landwehr's going to win this fight. Charriere is slowing down. He's not going to be able to match the volume. Landwehr's going to have this moment, and then Charriere comes out like a fucking berserker, swinging for the fences, and just knocks his block off. Like he cleans him. I loved it. Talk to me about it.
It was everything you said. And the funny thing is, Charriere had tried to be the finesse guy for most of the first part of the fight, and Landwehr was the one who's just marching forward and swinging, saying, "No, we're not gonna box. We're gonna brawl."
I lose Ben, and you guys lose me. People.
Hey,
Ben,
yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I don't know if I think I might have froze.
And Charriere just bites down the mouth guard, says, "Oh, we're brawling. Let's brawl," and clips Nate Landwehr. Yeah, fantastic. Good stuff. And it was a pretty fun fight even up to that point. It was already trending as one of the more enjoyable fights of the night, but yeah, you give me a sensational finish. Good stuff. Yeah.
I love that in the chat right now. We got people talking French to each other. I have no idea what they're saying. Mrs. Kaladi would be, she would not be happy with me. But I was more staring at her boobs than what she was teaching. I'm sold on Charriere because I always know he was a good technician. You know, we saw that very early in the first round. He's jabbing him. He's kicking the calf. Like, I thought he was going to be one of these stoppages from calf kicks. Like, I mean, it was swollen up 30 seconds of the fight. He's jumping. I'm like, oh, he's such a technician. And I know he has power. I mean, he's got like 12, 13 knockouts. You know he has power.
Yeah.
But he showed he had dog. He showed he had heart. When everything was going, I mean, you're in your opponent's hometown. You just lost a round. The crowd's going great. He's pumping up the crowd, you know. Everything's going wrong. And you're like, I ain't losing. And not only you got to lose, you got to win by spectacular knockout. That to me shows that he's got some like mental toughness. Yeah. I'm taking Charriere to win in his next fight.
Certainly, if it's in this same general range of fighters, I'm with you there. Yeah, it's almost the opposite of Marcin Tybura. Like, if you've been watching our shows long enough, I used to joke that they don't let Marcin Tybura back into Poland after his fights because he's not violent enough. If you ever watched the KSW show, you know what I mean by that. Morgan Charriere, maybe they don't let him back into France because he's too violent. It's like they're like, we got a reputation to maintain here, Morgan.
Yeah, he looked good. I felt bad for him. He seems like a guy who deserves to have a big moment in front of his hometown. Like, why would they give him that matchup? They should have given him a tomato can. You know, you could have opened the, you know, you don't have to have him third, you know, fourth on top. You could have him like open the main card against the tomato can.
Apparently, they should have given him Calvin Kattar.
No shit. Yeah, seriously. Before that, Austin Lane took on Vitor Petrino. Petrino.
Did he though? Did he?
Yeah, I know. Making his heavyweight debut. He was thick. He was like, what, 250, 249?
He was heavier than Lane. Yep.
You kind of answered my question because my question was going to be, you know, it's so hard to know what you have with Petrino at heavyweight based on fighting Austin Lane. But do you believe in him? Like, do you believe him at heavyweight?
I do, but it's not because of anything I saw here against Austin Lane.
Okay.
Like, I feel bad saying this, but we've been talking in and out about this kind of thing. Austin Lane is the equivalent of like an 80s pro wrestling jobber, because all my memories of him are of just people blowing him out in spectacular fashion, going all the way back to Greg Hardy on the Contender Series like 6 years ago. And he got the one heartwarming win over Robelas de Spain. But yeah, like Lane, it has just been there for whatever his opponent wants to do every time out. He just, he
keeps trying. Like he's going to different gyms. He's trying. You can tell he worked on his ground game. But yeah, as Ninja Kitty said, like did Iron Mike Shot play in the NFL? Because that's basically Austin Lane. I mean, I believe in Petrino at heavyweight, but for a different reason. And again, not for what he did against Austin Lane. It's more of just my disbelief in the heavyweight division in general. Like, if you got some talent, you're well-rounded, you're already a top 10 guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what it is. And he obviously has a skill set. He's athletic. He hits hard. He's got, you know, I think he could have won on the feet, but I thought it was smart for him just get a takedown. Like, why even chance it with a, you know, bigger, longer guy? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Did I miss something? Juice X Lane needs a nickname. How about Hacksaw? That's not a dig on Hacksaw Jim Duggan, is it?
I believe that's what he meant.
Yeah, he's not a Jabba. He won the first Royal. He won the first Royal Rumble.
Maybe he's saying that if Austin Lane was allowed to carry a 2x4 out to the cage, he would win a fight.
Can we do story time with Keith real quick?
Please.
This is a two-parter. So me and my old partner were playing. So there was it's actually got torn down, but we used to have a baseball stadium. Now we have this beautiful soccer stadium, but we had this baseball stadium. It was there for actually the longest professional baseball game in history was played at this stadium, McCoy Stadium. It was called Pawtucket. So they had like a wrestling night, and you could go there and you get autographs from all these wrestlers, and they put on like a show. And some of the old time wrestlers wrestled, but a lot of them were like the newer guys. But all the like a bunch of old time wrestlers were there to sign autographs. And me and this guy Tommy, like we're doing the detail, but we're walking in, and we used to always like to play this game and name like some random 1980s wrestler, and we had to guess if they were dead or alive. So we're walking in. It's kind of hard to explain. Like in the concourse, we're about to go where the people are, and he's like, "Hacksaw Jim Duggan, dead or alive?" And I didn't know. And as he says, I look straight in front of me, and there he is. I'm like, "I'm gonna go with alive," because he's right there.
That's amazing.
And he was super cool. He came up to us and said hi because his dad was like a sheriff from where they're from. But here's part two. So there's a part where the entrance are, and there's like private suites, and I'm over there, and I can go around like on the detail cop. So I see this younger, I don't know, 28, 29, 30, younger, pretty, like very pretty girl. So I just start talking to her. She's by herself. It's kind of a very random spot. So we start talking, kind of flirting a little bit, whatever. All right, don't hate on me. My wife's asleep. And I go this. Also, I'm like, you're a big wrestling fan? Like, she's like, oh no, yeah, I am. I kind of grew up wrestling. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, this is kind of like private area. Like, you hear with a wrestler, thinking like, oh, this is some wrestler's girlfriend. And she's like, no, my dad's actually used to be a wrestler. And I'm like, well, who's your dad? And she happened to live on Rhode Island. She was like, no, she wasn't even younger. She wasn't even college age. I don't know. Oh no, she went to college and then she got a job and stayed there. She's like, Jim Duggan. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. I'm like, you're Hacksaw Jim Duggan's daughter? I was trying to give you my 2x4. Because she was a hoe. No, anyways. I'll get off the rails now. But anyway, that's my Hacksaw Jim Duggan story. Let's move on. Junior Tafa took on Tuko Tokos, and Tokos won by second round submission. I think both these guys are terrible. I thought before, I still believe it. I'm doubling. They did terrible.
I completely agree. And that being the case, even though I picked this one wrong, I am happy to be wrong because Tuko Tokos has a story he can tell his children's children. I fought in the UFC. I won. I beat. It's like I beat Tafa, and without specifying which Tafa he meant. And yeah, like good job. Seriously.
Yeah. So the I'm glad that he won. The bad thing is he does not react well to strikes. Anytime he got hit by Tafa, and he didn't get hit a lot, but when he got hit, he almost got knocked out every single time.
Yep.
Tafa, first of all, he should go back to heavyweight simply because guys are less likely to wrestle in the heavyweight than they will at light heavyweight. Though he'll be a small heavyweight. He tries to wrestle, defensive wrestle, and he has no idea. He kept trying to butt drag without having any idea how to do a butt drag. He kept trying to do that. Yeah, I don't hate guys who do the 12-6 elbows when someone's trying to take him down because of I understand the logic behind it. Like I'm trying to knock him out, and we've seen that we call it the Travis Brown elbows for a reason.
Yeah.
But it's just stuff the head, dude. Push the head when they're on you. Like stuff the head, sprawl out, press on the the knees as you sprawl out. Like, come on, dude. This is shit my 10-year-old son knows how to do.
It's worth asking how much, if at all, did Tafa train his ground game for this fight? Because the takedown defense was terrible. Fair play to George Tokos for getting the arm triangle choke, but it was slow in setup. They went through it at the speed that you would do, like an instructor would do at the gym, showing everybody how to do the arm triangle choke. And the problem is that Junior Tafa put up as much resistance as the person would while the coach is showing everybody how to do the arm triangle choke. He did like just a pure check. He did none of the things you're supposed to do to defend. Like,
yeah.
MMA Rack says, how many years in Dagestan does Junior Tafa need? I'm going to say 40. Yeah, just because that'll put it out of my range of watching MMA.
Yeah.
Give me 40 years away from me having to watch him fight again.
Yeah. I just Tafa is terrible. He really is. He really is terrible. So, the worst thing is this was the guy said he dislocated his shoulder. I don't know if he dislocated, but something, he injured his shoulder. He said he couldn't feel his arms as he was squeezing, and he still subbed you. Like, oh God, that was really bad. We kind of breezed through the main card, so let's take a quick pause. This is going to have a quicker show. I mean, on paper wasn't the biggest card. Yeah. It is time for everyone's favorite segment, Know Your Host. Here's the host question of the night. It is Ben's turn. Ben, well, throw us out the chat. I want the chat to answer it too, but give us your question of the night.
All right. Okay. You wake up in the middle of the night to the sound of your smoke alarms screeching. Your house is engulfed in flames. You quickly realize that your family and your pets are safely outside. It's just you that needs to get out.
And I'm like, first of all, what the fuck, guys? None of you guys woke me up? like you got the dog before you got dad? Really? Okay, all right. Continue.
What do you save on the way out? It has to be something that you can reasonably carry, or what things do you get on the way out? It has to be something that you can reasonably carry in both hands in one trip.
No, I'll go first. We'll throw out the chat. People can answer that. We'll read those as many as you can. Well, first of all, I gotta throw some clothes on if it's the middle of the night. Just joking. But so I'm not a big material person. Like, you know, like when they say, what does people spend money on? People spend it on. Usually, generally speaking, it's like material things or experiences. I care way more about experiences. I don't need a new iPhone. Like, I'd rather go on a trip. I'd rather go to that new restaurant. I'd rather go to do something I've never done before. I have a little of that, like, fear of what they call FOMO. Like, I have a little bit of that. Like, I want to experience things. But the one materialistic thing I would grab is I have a set of cufflinks, black onyx cufflinks, and they're not crazy expensive. They're, if I had to guess, maybe $200. And it's something that's not my. I wear them the most special occasions. I will wear them. I've probably wore them 3 or 4 times in my life. The first time I wore them is what's special to me. So when I was going to get married to my wife, not Hacksaw Jim Duggan's daughter, when I was going to marry my Canadian wife, my dad gave it to me the day I was getting married, and it was special to me because when my dad married my mom, my grandfather gave it to him on his wedding day. So I've been holding on to him, and I'm going to give him to my son on his wedding day. So that's what I would grab, because it's not like if I brought it to a pawn shop, like, maybe get $100. I have no idea. They're not $1,000s. But when my dad's dad died when I was super young, like I can hardly remember him. So I don't know, just kind of traditional thing. So what do you got, man? You better not be like, oh, my guitar.
Well, I'm going to grab 2 things.
Okay.
One of them is a guitar. The first thing I'm going to grab is there's a little lockbox with all of our documents, like, you know, birth certificates, social security cards, stuff like that. If I don't grab that,
okay,
like, the next year of my life is going to be even more hell.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense.
And I mean, I won't veer political here, but guys, I wasn't born in the U.S. I'm a naturalized citizen. I need that. I need them papers if I don't want to wake up in El Salvador. So,
I have no idea what you're talking about, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're watching right now, you see guitars behind me. The other thing I'd bring would be one of them, and it would be just the hardest one to replace. This guy right here is both the most expensive and probably my favorite of them. Like,
nice.
So, yeah, the 1996 Metropolitan Tanglewood Custom is
custom.
So yeah, those are things I'd grab, assuming that all the living things were out of the house.
Ben, I have no idea how much does that thing cost.
I would have.
We had to guess.
It was $5,000 or $6,000.
5 or 6,000?
5 or 6, yeah.
I think they say 100.
No. Like the guitars on the rack behind me, none of them are under 1,000.
Oh God, I don't know jack shit about guitars. and I'm married to a music teacher.
Oh, dude, a piano or a violin, I don't even want to go there. That shit is expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what my wife would grab if it was. The first thing I thought before the cufflinks was I have this thing I tease my wife about. I saw it at the store and I had to buy it. Called the Battery Daddy. Have you ever seen the Battery Daddy?
No. What is the Battery Daddy?
It's like a organizer where you can put batteries in, but they got the foam cut out so you can put all double A's, triple A's, whatever, D's and the little ones and all, different ones. So I fill it up, and when it's completely filled, it looks badass. It's called Google it, Battery Daddy. I have one of those. Those are one of my first things I'm grabbing out the door. Can we get a sponsorship from the Battery Daddy? Someone send this video to Battery Daddy. We get sponsored. Help me fill up, or how about a battery company, Energize or something, so I can help fill up the Battery Daddy. So, let's read. Porter Baines said, "I know I say her name wrong every time." What she said, called like Portland, Maine, or some shit like that. she cracked me up.
Hey, he's New England to the bone, guys. Yeah, there we go.
I have a Warhammer wood elf figure my brother painted, which he did for me because he said it looks like me. Oh, geez, the last line killing me. So
yeah,
since he's no longer here, it's very precious to me. Okay, that's really nice. A Warhammer wood elf figure. That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. Like Warhammer's like a fantasy tabletop game where you have little figurines for like little monsters. Yeah.
And Ben, why would you assume I wouldn't know that?
Now, the funny thing is, it's life size because those figurines are about 2.5 inches tall, and we all know the Porsche is tiny.
I like that you didn't think I know that. I didn't know that. West Coast says my kid's saxophone was 1,000. So
and that's like a student saxophone. Yeah. Guitars are nothing compared to real instruments. Like real musicians, like that shit's super expensive. Yeah.
Battery Daddy is what his wife calls him when they play. They both play Kattar.
I believe Battery Daddy is for when he's not home, actually. But
easy. That one was a saint. All right, let's get back to it. We'll get off the rails.
Yeah.
All right. Kind of a fight that probably should have been much higher in the card, but Chris Curtis made his long-awaited return, first time in the UFC, but he used to fight at welterweight as he took on Max Griffin, winning a split decision. Did you agree with that decision?
I believe I did.
Yeah, I had
it back. Yeah. I scored it 29-28 for Curtis.
Yeah, I gave Curtis a second and third.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. One thing we talked about, I wasn't sure if it would be a good move at the end of his, he's older guy at the end, not totally at the end of his career, but he's not in his 20s. Yeah. Would it be a good thing for Curtis to cut weight, move down to welterweight? I think so. No, I was kind of leaning a little bit towards probably a good thing. He's even at welterweight, he's still a little undersized, but in this case, he's not. These guys aren't gigantic next to him, so I do feel like this was a good move. That said, Chris Curtis drives me crazy because I thought this was a stylistic nightmare for Griffin, and he was the cleaner striker. He simply was not throwing off combinations. He refused to match Max Griffin's power, volume, and that's why one of the judges gave to me. I thought, the better of the punches, Curtis was landing the more effective shots, but it's why he has such close decisions. MMA Racks, as mentioned, 10 split decisions and 32 career fights. Like one out of 3 fights is a split decision. That's crazy.
It is, and it is the exact same thing we used to say about Jorge Masvidal, and for the same reason. Like, they are two of the pound for pound goats at making things more difficult for themselves than they need to be. Like Jorge Masvidal, like, it was the complete checklist of ways to make decisions closer than they need to be. Waiting for the perfect shot, kind of admiring your own work when you slip a punch, just like the whole list. And a lot of it is the same for Curtis. Whenever he turned it on the feet, he outclassed Griffin badly in the striking. Like, his hands were so much faster. When he goes to the body, he's one of the better guys in the UFC at it, and just doesn't do it enough. Like, if there's something that you do at an elite level, why in God's name don't you do it? Yeah, you're mute, but
yeah, you gotta get on him and yell at him. But that's gonna be something that is when you're in the gym while he's doing sparring and just be screaming, more volume, more volume. You're losing the round because of it. You give away the round. And break down the fight and be like, look how much more effective you are and why it was close. Because you know what? You clearly won this fight, but let's look at the numbers. Oh, wait, he outstruck you. Oh, this is why one of the judges, you need one other judge to give away, and you just lost out on a lot of money, a lot of ranking, a lot of, you'd be in a really tough position. And so Antoine Willis says, how do you feel about Curtis moving to Thailand and then threw literally 0 kicks? That is pretty funny. Shout out to I like Chris Curtis. He actually is a really good dude. I've met him a bunch of times, but he's in Thailand. I have a friend who moved to that same gym. His kid is a wrestler. He's training to be an MMA fighter, and he's training with Chris Curtis. So that's really cool for the young man there, who I'll be rooting for forever. He's my son's former wrestling partner. One of the little older than my son, but they actually was in the same private wrestling group, so they did a lot of rounds together. And he's a good kid. His name is Logan Bonifilio. You can look him up. He's like an influencer now in the wrestling world. His name, more famous, is called Mr. Is it Mr. Spladle or Boy Spladle or something like that? Spladle Kid, or you find him if you look. You won't be that hard to find him. But his name's Logan, and he's living in Thailand trying to become an MMA fighter. Griffin, to me, I was watching Griffin, and his movement, I really think he's doing like a Andre Arlovski trying to prolong his career. I think he's shot. And I think his movement is his way of trying not to get knocked out. I think he knows it.
Now that you say that makes sense, because my thought was, as much as Curtis was doing his best to turn this into a split decision, I felt as though Griffin could have seized the moment a little bit more as well, and maybe that's the reason right there.
The only time
39, man.
The only times he came forward and he actually had success was the 2 times Curtis complained about something. And it's so funny. Curtis complains about clash of heads, though he leads with his head. Like, he's the reason why the clashes happen. Should a referee notice it? Yeah, of course. And in the heat of the moment when you bang heads, you're probably upset. But good on Griffin. Like, that won him the first round. I think Curtis started like, complain. Oh, you got knocked in the head, and then Griffin just like 5-punch combination. So, what are you doing with Chris Curtis?
I've got 2 possible options. At his age, you're either going to throw him in action fights against other guys in kind of his same group, so maybe give him the winner of Eliseo Dos Santos and Neil Magny in a couple weeks, or if you just want to feed the old lions to the new lions, you give him Kobe Smith.
I like that.
Here's the thing: when he's on the ball, he has very good takedown defense. Like, we might see a fight where, at least for part of it, Kobe Smith is stuck on the feet, can't take this guy down, and is getting boxed up.
Yeah, I think a good thing about Curtis going down to welterweight from the matchmaking sense is that there's so many opportunities. It's a great division. Obviously, it's a better division on paper, and then all new matchups. I think he'd like the matchup. I'm giving him a fight night co-main event or like a pay-per-view featured prelim, or something where you get like maybe interviewed on media day. I'm putting against Mike Malott.
I like that a lot.
Before that, you already said we already know who I matchmake. Jake Matthews. I given him Steve Thompson. Jake Matthews. This was the worst call of the night. Well, I picked Kattar too, so I had two really bad calls. Jake Matthews beat Chidi and Nzechukwu, and one of the fights on paper was one of the closest. In the actual octagon, it wasn't. Jake Matthews ran right through him.
Well, I see. It was really a tale of two fights. The first 40 seconds, Nzechukwu looked fantastic. He was like head kicked Matthews twice, just touching him up, staying out of range. Then the last 20 seconds, Matthews got on him, and the shit was over. Like, yeah.
Well, at one point, Matthews reaches, gets the collar tie, and punches him, and Nzechukwu went to underhook. I'm like, dude, no, you'd like push away, like hands on the hips, push him away. Instead, and as soon as I was like, push him away, it was beautiful foot sweep. It was like that Muay Thai style, but still beautiful foot sweep. And that's all it's like. Once he went down, he was on his back. And say one about Chidi, like Chidi's always had struggled to get off the ground and then never had the best takedowns. But he's hard to sub. That was not the case. Matthews subbed him quick. Being when he's only 30 years old, he's got 3 wins in a row. I mean, he's a guy that like he had a lot of buzz, and then he kind of like went through a valley, and now he's kind of like coming back up. Like you starting to believe in Matthews a little bit.
Yeah, he's kind of turning things around. I still think his striking looks awkward. He's not as smooth a striker as you would expect him to be, just from how he looks physically and like how smooth he is on the ground. So again, for as long as until Nzechukwu initiated the clinch, he was touching him up. But yeah, I am cautiously believing in Jake Matthews. Like, he is now 22 fights into his UFC career, still just 30 years old. Yeah, I still don't think he's a future title contender, but he's got another 5 or 6 years to show us something.
Yeah, I would feel much better if he was like a middleweight or light heavyweight, just because that division is so freaking stacked. It might be the most stacked one. I mean, look at the run guys like Bilal Muhammad and Leon Edwards had to do. You can't afford a single loss. It sets you back. It's not one of the ones other visuals set you back 9 months. This sets you back 2-3 years, depending on how bad the loss is. Speaking of like 3 years, I don't know how long it was since Lauren Murphy fought, but
it was over 2.
Over 2. She stepped in the cage for the final time, if we believe her. She took on Eduarda Moura winning a unanimous decision. Let's talk about Moura before we get to Lauren Murphy. Moura won. I don't think she looked good. I thought she was so much more athletic and faster and younger and skilled. It was closer than it should have been. Like, she clearly won the first 2 rounds, but I mean, like, I really felt if she stepped on the gas early, she might be able to stop this fight.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because she doesn't have another gear that she can reach for, or she was just tentative because this was the biggest name opponent of her run so far. I don't know, but I agree. And in fact, 3 of the first 4 fights on this card had a massive favorite, and I don't think any of them really went lights out. I thought all of them underperformed in relation to how wide the line was, even if they won their fights. Moura is an example of that, and it's hard to look great against Lauren Murphy. That's part of it. But
yeah, I was watching this,
and
I was thinking, Lauren Murphy from a couple of years ago beats her. Yeah. She's like, she's fighting 40. I don't know how old she is. 41-year-old, 42. What is she? She's old.
I think. I think she's 40.
Yeah. Okay, 40.
41.
like, she's
41.
41. I'm like, she's lucky she's fighting 41-year-old Lauren Murphy and not 37-year-old Lauren Murphy, because she's loose tonight.
Yeah.
And then she almost got to the one thing. Actually, it's weird. She got caught in a submission. That's the one thing I actually thought more looked good, like finding a way to get up. I thought she was. I thought it was done. And I was, and even though I picked Moura, I was rooting for Murphy. I'm like, because the last fight, I'm like, have a moment in front of a crowd. I'm like, that'd be pretty cool. Didn't happen. That's actually the one thing I thought Moura looked good, like finding a way to get out of that in a like panic.
That's fair.
What are you gonna do with Moura next?
Oh, okay. So I still don't super believe in her after the Murphy win, and despite like the UFC booth keeps talking about her like she's 24 years old. She's 31. Like she's not. She's a prospect in terms of experience, but not really in terms of age.
No,
so
like she should be.
I'm putting her up against another once beaten UFC fighter that's on the wrong side of 30, and if they're gonna become a contender, it's go time now. I'm putting her up against Kong Wang.
Oh, nice. I love her. I kind of older. I want Vivian out of Rougeau. Simply like kind of like the same Lauren Murphy, more skilled, but I think Rougeau might beat it right now.
Off the cuff, yeah.
Yeah. Antoine Willis said, "How do you feel about Lauren telling Eduarda she couldn't understand it?" That was fantastic. Eduarda was like talking to her. I don't know if you caught that. She's talking to her in Portuguese. Got this big, huge speech, and being Lauren Murphy, she's so like she just says what she thinks. She's like, she said like, I have no idea what the fuck you're saying right now.
Love it.
Lauren Murphy, she retired. She's been, MMA for a long time. She's been in the UFC for a really long time. She's from your area too.
Well, she's from Alaska, but she lives in my area now. Yeah. She lives and trains in Katy, Texas.
How would she be remembered?
I mean, if I'm being brutally honest, she won't.
Yeah.
But to those who do, she'll be one of the better fighters from that first class of UFC flyweights. I mean, she's one of the people that actually was in the UFC before it had a flyweight division and dropped down once they had that season of Tough. So she is a charter member of the UFC's women's 125-pound division, and she was one of the better of them. I'd say she's definitely in like the top 20% of them. She fought for a title. Yeah, she's a good fighter.
Yeah, and before I give mine, I apparently Ada Rougeau got cut, so everyone's telling me I'm an idiot. So, it's all right. Well, then have her beat up Lauren Murphy again. Then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I guess her story about extremely unhealthy, drug addict, single mom, all this stuff. Like that's an inspirational story. I love her speech at the end, like being 41, still fighting, still doing this. Her retirement speech was, like people said, was great. That's how I remember her. And like going through Invicta, doing it the hard way. Kind of when she first came to UFC, you never said go to fight for a title. And was she right place, right time? Sure. Was it because there was a dominant champion who kind of making her rounds to the division? Sure. But she put her in that position. Like, I give her credit. Like, there's people who've gotten title shots that don't. She earned it more than other people who got title shots. Like, it wasn't just like, this person dropped out.
Real quick, shout out to Ben Phoenix, who just popped up in the chat. It says shout out to Katy, Texas. He would be the lead singer of Bayou Saints. Any of you that have asked what that band is on our fade out music, that's him. My
really?
Bandmate, my bandmate, my homie Ben Phoenix.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Is he he's the singer?
He's the lead singer. Yeah.
Nice. That's cool. Thanks for jumping in, Ben Phoenix. I'm looking at his picture. He looks like a lead singer of a rock band.
Yeah.
So cool. Very, very, very cool. Thanks for jumping in, my man. Hopefully. Dude, you gotta play a show when I'm in Texas. I gotta go to a show. I gotta see Ben playing.
Okay. I'll have to look at our calendar, but I think we have one in August. Yeah.
Oh. Before that, Kendi and Nzechukwu took on Walter Walker. Walker winning by first round sub. I love everything Walker did. First of all, he just swarmed him. He didn't even give a chance. Like, he just basically bull rushed him. And he is the heavyweight. I keep saw people tweeting out heavyweight Ryan Hall. No, he's heavyweight Husma Paharis. He just lets go. He just let's go when you tap. He's got 3 heel. I mean, I don't know how many heel hook subs there in UFC history. He's got 3 in a row. That's fantastic. I'm still not totally believing. I think it's a very risky move, especially in heavyweight with guys who could drop down crazy hammers and do serious damage. But I don't think it's going to go all the way to the title, but I'm enjoying the run. Good for him. I love it.
It's fantastic. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch for however long it lasts. And hey, fair play to him. Not only did I get the result of this fight wrong, I specifically said if Walker tries heel hooking Kennedy Nzechukwu, he's going to have hammer fist for dinner and smelling salts for dessert.
So did I.
And it added up to really just what you said. He swarmed him right out of the gate. And when you think of his brother Johnny, what did he do his first 3 UFC fights? He swarmed people right out of the gate, and even like top 15-ish people, he blew right through. It just at light heavyweight, Johnny Walker ran into people who could deal with that much quicker. He ran into like Corey Anderson, and Corey Anderson like, oh please, and plunked him. Walter Walker, I've said this before, but at heavyweight, all you really need is one thing you're good at and enough aggression to put yourself in a position to use it to win. He is literally swarming people, throwing a couple haymakers and heel hooking them, and it keeps working. I want to see him. I want to see him get to a top 10 matchup with this, and it might be coming.
Yeah. I just love the way he did this one. Like, they were on the feet and he just dives on the leg, like rolls underneath it. That was freaking awesome. I agree with, like, he's going to get knocked out going for that. But what guys got to do, and obviously it's easy for me to say this, well, I'm not the one get my leg about to get dislocated. When you're on top and he jumps down, don't grab his hands trying to break his hand. Well, first, he's big, strong. You got to go right to a big hammer fist down on the face. And try to knock him out, because you got 1 or 2, not even 1 or 2 seconds, like half a second. Maybe a big hammer fist gets him to let go, or he's got to block it now, or something knocks him out. Who knows? You grab his, it's proven. You try to grab his hands and try to fight it, it's too late. Like, you're not gonna break his grip, and he's gonna wreck your knee. So, yeah, dude, I love it too. So I already matched him. So what would you do with Mr. Walker in his next fight?
I seriously want to give him the winner of Budai versus Buchecha. Because, okay, if you're watching this show and you hate watching it, you hate me. If Walter Walker heel hooks Marcus Buchecha Almeida, I will quit Sherdog and like walk away from this forever. Like, if he heel hooks,
Okay.
One of the greatest heavyweight grapplers of all time in an MMA fight, I will literally walk away. I'll be done. I'll go do something.
There you go. And then it'll just be this Shillan show, which I've been trying to get for years, but he just keeps hanging on. Before that, Mike Davis took on Mitch Ramirez. Davis winning by second round submission. I was big on Davis coming to the UFC. I still see. I'm not sure about this guy. I mean, like I said, there's flashes of greatness in him, and then there's just moments where he looks like he's done. I mean, we saw in this one, like, he wasn't reacting. Like, the beginning of the second round, he wasn't reacting well to strikes for about, I don't know, first minute of the second round. And then suddenly his striking never looked better. In the rest of the round, he couldn't miss. And I'm like, what? He looks so clean. I'm like, and it all changed in like 2 minutes. I'm like, what is going on with Mike Davis? I don't know. I don't know if there's a spectacular one for him or a sell on him. I don't know.
All right. You pointed out it's one thing when a fighter looks amazing or terrible from one fight to the next, but with him, it's from 1 minute to the next within the same fight. I mean, he's a guy that's trained a lot with Terrence McKinney, but yeah, he has a lot of the same just inconsistency. He should have walked through Ramirez and For a minute, it looked like he was going to, and then in the end, he did. What are you going to do? In a division like 155, it's impossible for me to predict that Mike Davis is going to even make it into the rankings. You just, how could you, find me 5 guys in a row that you would feel comfortable having him beat. I wouldn't even be comfortable picking him to beat Mitch Ramirez 5 times in a row. And Ramirez is 0-3 in the UFC.
Yeah.
So if you can't do that, that's the reason that you can't be inconsistent from 135 to 170.
Yeah. I don't know. So, and before that, the first fight of the night, Fatima Klein took on Melissa Martinez. Klein winning by 3rd round knockout. I mean, that combination, a little fake right hand to a left high kick on the other side was awesome. It was something that I think Larasenko called was going to happen, which was pretty cool. Martinez, I mean, she would do much better, but she was just forced on her back foot the whole time, and she couldn't react. When she was holding her around, she had moments, especially in the second round, but the pressure from Klein was getting too much. Klein, to me, looks like a future top 15 fighter.
She does. It's interesting because this is a fight where even though she lost the first 2 rounds and then got knocked out in the third, Melissa Martinez looked better than I expected. In fact, I think she looked better than she has in any of her UFC bouts so far. So Martinez looked good in defeat. And I'm with you. Klein, it's not the exact same skill set, but there is something about her that just makes me think of Erin Blanchfield. Just the confidence, the ability to... Yeah, I mean, there's that, but yeah, like Klein appears to be the real deal.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And she's super young. I mean, she's only 24, so that's really good. So there you guys have it. We've covered all 12 fights. Let's get to the fun stuff. We're making really good time. So let's go to. Do we have the awards, Ben?
We do have the awards. There is a fight of the night and 2 performances of the night.
Really? Because I thought for sure they were going to give out 4 performances. There was a lot of stoppages tonight. Performances, I'll put that on pause. Fight Curtis Griffin is what I think that was probably the best fight. As far as performances is tough because Derrick Lewis got that big knockout, but it's a little bad of an early stoppage. I'll give him Vitor Walker 1 for sure. I mean, three in a row like that. I'm gonna go Matthews. Matthews got the really quick sub in a really close, betting line. That's who I'm giving to. But I mean, you got Charriere with that knockout. You got Lewis with that knockout. That's what I'm giving to. Ben, what would you give him to? And then we'll find out what they actually were.
I actually would have been fine if they'd given out 4 performance bonuses. But if I'm giving a fight of the night, I'm giving it to Charriere versus Landwehr and performances of the night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, dude. I'm sorry. Yeah. I yes, you're absolutely right. Fight of the night. I fucked that one up. Yes.
And performances of the night, I would have given to Vitor Walker and Jake Matthews.
Oh, so we're the same.
The same. Yeah, I believe the same.
And I did forgot to mention another one I messed up. I forgot to mention Klein's knockout. That was another crazy knockout. And Davis had a stoppage, impressive stoppage. But so let's find out who actually won.
I'm just sorry. Matua said Vitor Walker is the Dean Lister of MMA, and I'm like, isn't Dean Lister the Dean Lister of MMA? Anyway, fight of the night is Morgan Charriere versus Nate Landwehr. Your performances of the night go to Vitor Walker for his record-breaking third straight heel hook victory, and to Fatima Klein for her 3rd round knockout of Melissa Martinez.
You know what? All right, I'm okay with that. I'm glad they didn't give it to Lewis. I thought they'd give it to Derrick Lewis.
Derrick Lewis made more than $50,000 just with that free promotion they gave him for his car washes.
Yeah.
How many people? I'm down. Anytime you want to give the bonus check to the opening fight of the night to somebody that's probably fighting for 12-12,
sure.
Life-changing money. Absolutely. Yeah. Congratulations, Fatima Klein.
Yeah, I would have given it to Matthew just because of who we went against and how close it was. But yeah, I mean, Klein was the biggest favorite on the card. But you know what? When you're biggest favorite on the card and you do a walk-off head kick, I know she had to follow up a punches, but basically a walk off. Good for her. Let's get to the Cutlass.
Okay.
The Cutlass, if you are not familiar, both me and Ben give it the same name. We give the UFC permission to get rid of this fighter, to open up doors. The Contender Series coming up, so they probably have to be. They'll be seeing a lot of people getting cut soon. I have 3, and I already gave you Calvin Kattar. And this is not counting Lauren Murphy retiring. So I'd give you 4.
So yeah, I have 3 as well. One of them is Kattar.
All right. Who else would you give me?
I'd give you Mitch Ramirez. He's 0-3 in the UFC.
Same.
And he looked good for moments, but he ended up getting knocked out again. So, and Austin Lane.
Yeah.
Even at heavyweight. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I almost had Tafa on my list, but he just recently won his last fight, or 2 fights ago. No, his last fight. So,
yeah.
He'll let him stick around for that, but he's right on the brink. He's hanging off the edge. So, let's go to Dude Seriously. So, Ben, do you have any Dude Seriouslys for us?
I forgot to write any of them down. I thought of several as the night went along, but I always forget to write them down.
All right, I'll give you a couple. I'll start with my man Mike Davis announcing that he's never lifted weights before. Like, dude, seriously? You're a professional athlete? Hit up my man Ben. He'll put you on a workout program. This guy, he lives at the gym. He'll get you on the right supplement plan. He'll get you lifting. He'll teach you the dynamic lifts and all that. Hit up Ben Duffy at sherdogdotcom, and he'll get you. He'll set up a program for you. I'll give you another one. Mike Davis mentioning that he trains at Mike Tyson's boxing gym, and then somehow makes him Mike Tyson at boxing. Like, dude, seriously, I once went to George Washington's house. I don't think they're gonna put my face on Mount Rushmore. Like, come on, dude, seriously. Derrick Lewis is my last one. So I already mentioned Steve Garcia calling for Apex one, but my last one. Derrick Lewis did have a promo for his car wash and his car rental. I don't know if you caught this. Dude's renting out bulletproof cars. Like, dude, seriously. Like, you're asking for trouble. That is not a good business model. Dude, seriously.
Having said that, it's very Houston. I mean, he walks out to a track by a guy that got shot to death. Rest in peace, Fat Pat. I do have one. Normally, I don't even pile on Daniel Cormier butchering names. It's part of his charm. But he started out saying Morgan Charriere's name fine and talked himself into saying it wrong by the end of the fight. And by the end of the fight, he was Morgan Charriere, he's
Tyson Charriere's brother.
One, you started fine. Go with your first instinct, DC. 2, you have a French last name. This shouldn't be that difficult for you. Think about it. Every time somebody called you Daniel Cormier at some dual meet out of your county.
It's true. That's true. That is a good point. I can't get on people for butchering because I butchered names. So, ask Portia Baines. All right, let's get to the Bulls and the Bears. The Bulls and Bears, the stock market list. You want to be on the Bulls list. You do not want to Bears list. We do it 3, 2, 1. Do you want to go positive or negative first?
Let's go positive.
All right, Ben. You mind if I go first?
Go for it.
My number 3. I'm gonna go Jake Matthews. I mean, he's a guy that a lot of people gave up on. He's won 3 fights in a row. I mean, I think he's won 4 out of 5. His last single loss was against what's his name? The guy who's killing everybody. Who's the guy that's killing everybody? Young kid from Ecuador.
Ian Gary?
Michael Morales. Yeah. And honestly, he's probably had the best performance. And I mean, it was one-sided, but he probably had the best performance. So, as he mentioned, Jake Matthews is my number 3. Number 2, you got to give it to Steve Garcia. 6 wins in a row. So he had what, 5 knockouts in a row. I guess he was only the only person. If you got the knockout, they said the only person that would have more knockouts in a row would have been Chuck Liddell, who was the face of MMA for a long time, or at least the face of the UFC. So that would have been pretty cool for him. But still, he got the biggest name on his record. And my number 1, This was on the prelims. It was early on the prelims, but how could it be anybody else? It's Walter Walker. 3 heel hooks, sub wins in a row. Gets the not only did he get the third heel hook, but who he beat is the best win of his career. My man Walter Walker is someone that I'm really looking forward to his next fight. So, Ben, what do you got?
I agree with all those. I'm not going to pile 3 more onto the pile. I will add in, throw in Vitor Petrino. Again, it's Austin Lane. You move on, but just physically looking a not fat 250 pounds, moving like he does, he's going to give some people some trouble. He's not a perfect fighter, but the people that can take advantage of his limitations are going to be fewer and further between at heavyweight. And my number 1, Morgan Charriere. When you go in and in the 3rd round of the fight of the night, you knock out the only Tennessee fighter on the card, and you still have the crowd kind of liking you by the end. Oh, and you're French, which is an enormous handicap, getting American crowds to like you. You are a winner on the night. So good job, Morgan Charriere. Like I said, stardom has just been kind of waiting for this guy to start stringing together some wins. If it's happening now, not surprised.
Yeah, he's really good. So let's go to the Bears list. You don't want to be on the Bears list. This is the people who had a bad night. You mind if I kick it off again?
Go for it.
I'm going to go, and this is not just tonight. This is just general, and I am stealing this from someone I saw on Twitter. I apologize. I can't remember who it was, but just talking about like the UFC's experiment with like failed NFL prospects, or I shouldn't say prospects, just guys who like made what's that team called? The like reserve team. What do you call it?
The training, like the practice squad. The
practice squad, the guys. It's like the practice squad, or guys who play 1 year in the NFL or something. Like they keep trying to press that thing. You're either if you're that guy, you weren't that elite athlete. That's why you're not playing the NFL. Or if you were that elite athlete, you've already made a shitload of money from the NFL. You don't have to fight MMA. I mean, really, Hardy is really the only guy that was a serious NFL player who, based on other circumstances, why, and he probably should have spent more time seasoning his game. But he was a little older because he spent a while in the NFL. So that just the whole NFL players come to MMA, just move on. It's like, I'm not saying don't get one of these guys, but you don't have to mention it. Or if you do, mention it one time. Like, I'm so sick of hearing about Austin Lane played freaking 3 snaps for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, whatever. My number 2, he was doing well, but Nate Landwehr, he's lost 3 out of his last 4 fights. He got stopped in back-to-back fights. He was on the brink of pulling a pretty big upset, and in his home, getting a win in his hometown. The crowd was going crazy for him. Everything was going good until he got clogged. So Nate Landwehr stock going down. And my number 1 probably should be my whole region, but it's Calvin Kattar is absolutely toast. 5 losses in a row. And you know what? I anytime you can get out of New England, the train is a good thing. He just picked a wrong. Like, you need a guy who needs more output. Why would you go to TriStar? Like, that was such a dumb place to go to. Like, he should have been. Honestly, he'd be better off at like some smaller gym that really guys who bang it out and I don't know. I'm rambling, but that was just the worst gym. So, what do you got?
I agree with all of those. I am gonna throw out Kennedy Nzechukwu. That he lost to Walker, not the end of the world. That he got heel hooked by Walker. Apparently, that's not the end of the world either. Walter Walker is he's like Oprah. He's just telling every heavyweight in the UFC, look under your seat. You get a heel hook. You get a heel hook. But
yeah, it's good.
He's always been prone to just getting put on his heels and overwhelmed by people that know what they want to do when he doesn't. And that appears to be carrying over. So he's won. Chidi Njokuani, it's been a fun run. This was a bad loss for him.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah. Curtis, Matthews.
Not who he lost to, but that quickly is bad.
That quickly, that easily, because Chidi Njokuani's been in MMA for a long time, and not even including like John Salter back in Bellator made it look that easy. And John Salter is a great grappler up a weight class. So yeah, bad look for Chidi. I mean, he was always going to be a guy that just kind of stuck around and was fun for a while, but you got to win more than you lose. And number one, I'm going to throw out Tallison Teixeira. When you take your first loss and it's in 30 seconds by a guy that like could only see out of one eye and was just literally head down swinging blindly, and you had 4 inches of reach on him and he still found your chin. Ugh. Teixeira still might be part of the future of the division, but Derrick Lewis is apparently not part of the past yet.
No. Good for Derrick Lewis. Let's get to the grade. What was your, I mean, I'll give my grade first, because I know that we kind of think of something. On paper, this was put in such a hole. I mean, this was an absolute filler card. It seemed like a chore heading in. I saw people comment on the preview show, be like, "Oh, you guys are sleeping on this card. There's gonna be a lot of finishes." Yeah, that's when we grade on paper. We're not saying like there's gonna be a lot of finishes. There could be terrible fights, and I mean, there was a finish in Tokos versus Tafa. I still don't want to watch it again. So I felt like it was really in a really tough situation to get it, like almost impossible to get an A. But the action delivered. There was a lot of action. I mean, there was really fun moments. So I'm gonna go like a B. Like I'm happy. Like I think that's kind of the highest the card could have got. So I'll go B.
I'm in a report just throwing bombs out here. Dude. I'm with you as well. I'm a
report. If Fantasy is a huge Calligator fan. Loves Calligator.
I'm giving it a B-. It was about as good as a card that looked like this on paper could be. The most it could give us was violence and learning a few things about all the heavyweights / light heavyweights that were switching divisions. We got both those things.
Yeah, totally agreed. Always the hardest question of the night is, who is your listener of the night? The chat was banging for a smaller card. The chat was pretty banging. Shout out. First of all, I always complain about being late, and I'm going to that. I'm freaking in my 40s, and so I need to get some sleep. I was out in the sun all day. We got eliminated, so we didn't make it to the final four, which would have to drive back to Connecticut, and it was already 2 days, so it was day 3. We didn't make it to day 3. Oh no, wait, day 3. Kind of happy. Obviously, I'm rooting for my daughter and them, but I'm tired. But that said, I want to give a shout out to all the people who stay up late with us in chat, but especially those people in like Europe. When we have people, I know we had Portia Baines, she's in Wales, and I know I mean Sean Sheehan was there for a little while. He's in Ireland, and there's other people I know that are different. I mean, some of these guys, it's like 6, 7 a.m. We're staying up. I love that people have made the recap show part of their fight night experience. I love that. So shout out to all you guys. But who's your listener tonight?
It was a tight field, but I'm going to give it to MMA Racks. Like maybe laugh a couple times, corrected me on 1 or 2 things, compared me to Nate Landwehr. I mean, what more could I possibly want? Listener of the night.
Yeah, I mean, the listeners are great. My man Antoine Willis is always awesome. He's really turned into one of my favorites. Marcus Mustard always in there early. Ivan Report Knoxville, cracks me up. 30C West is always trolling me. He or she is a really good sport. Juice X, I know he's not really a listener, but he's great. But the chat was just great. Matua had me cracking up some, but I'm going to go with the person who just commented last, saying it's 1 p.m. doing the Lord's work. You are on my list. You have some really good lines. That's Mr. C, the informal spectator. I don't know where is 1 p.m. Where are you? So where the hell is it 1 p.m. right now? Is that like Australia? I don't know where it's 1 p.m.
That's a good question.
That's 12 hours.
It's not somewhere in Asia, like Asia or the Pacific.
Okay, so
Vietnam. There you go.
Vietnam. So there you go. So
where I will end up if those documents in my safe box burn. I'll be deported back to Vietnam. Yep.
So, Mr. C, you are my listener tonight. Anyways, you guys are all great. We have a big card, UFC 318, the trilogy fight. The BMF title is on the line as Max Holloway, even though he's 0-2 in the matchup, is defending the BMF belt against Dustin Poirier in Dustin Poirier's final MMA fight, if we believe that. I actually kind of do. But so there you guys have it. We'll be previewing that tomorrow. It'll be up probably early, very early Monday morning. We'll be back a week from now recapping that one. It'll probably be even later, but make sure you check that out. In the meantime, everybody have a good week. Ben, say something witty or say something about Vietnam on the way up.
I have got nothing. I am toast. You guys have a good night and look out for that preview.
See you guys.